Today on Growing Food is Easy Challenge, week 4, we're going to talk about some things you can do when it gets cold out. Hi, I'm Jacqueline, the Wild Floridian, and today is week 4 of the Growing Food is Easy Challenge. If it's your first time joining us, go ahead and check out one of these videos so you can see how we started off. Or at the end, we'll put the playlist. So today on the Growing Food is Easy Challenge, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about it getting cold. So if you started from the beginning, you may have gotten some plants, some seeds in the ground, and now all of a sudden it's going to get cold out and kill all your babies. We don't want to do that. So let's talk about a couple things that you could have done and what you could do if it is getting cold. So what you could have done. So number 1, what you could have done is plant in small containers. And this is great because when you're not sure if that last hard freeze is done for the year, you can move your plants from inside to outside and protect them against these varying temperatures. Now one of the challenges is, challenge. So one of the challenges with that is that when you don't root them in place and the more you have to transplant them, the more likely you are to lose them. So the second thing you could have done that could have helped you is that depending on what zone you're in and what you're planting, and depending on how cold it got, where you planted, if you didn't go on and plant it in a container, could have made the difference. So did you use the south side of the house? Did you go and you plant it right up against a wall so that it got radiant heat from the walls? Some future strategies to think about as you're going and planting things. But let's say you didn't do that. Your plants are outside. It's like my poor little star fruit here who's looking very unhappy after those really cold temps. Here are some things you could do. So one, if you had a sprout, you could go ahead and try to create a greenhouse effect over it. You can use things like clear plastic lid containers, like maybe something you got off of a salad or one of those burrito bowls. You poke a little couple holes in them. They might already have holes, and you put them over them. And what it'll do is it'll create the same thing as if it was inside of a greenhouse. Another thing you can do is you can use things, now I'm not talking little sprouts, you can use things like pine needles or mulch in the area to protect them. Also, if you would have planted them near other plants, it can also create like a small microclimate that also can help. Now, if you got bigger plants, like my little star fruit here, I can't go and put a plastic container on top of that. But some things that you could do if you were in a zone where you're gonna get some really hard temperatures. One, some people go and cut their plants back in preparation, especially if they're really pushing the zone. Another thing that you could do is use things like hay to insulate it. And I mean a lot of hay, and you gotta go up. They also use things like blankets, or they'll use like a heat tarp, a black tarp where when the sun hits it, it really warms it up inside. Another thing you can do is use water to help prevent, well actually freeze it so it doesn't get too cold. You keep it at freezing temperature, so it kind of is counter to what you think it's gonna do. They do this a lot out in the orange groves. I threw a lot of information at you right now, didn't I? So I don't usually have to deal too much with freezes. I live in zone 10A, so I'm really don't have to deal a lot with freezing. We get it maybe for a couple hours, so I don't tend to have to use these strategies, but I do watch out for it because I'm pretty sloppy with when I throw my sprouts out. I'll just throw them out whenever. I don't wait for a last freeze because we really don't freeze that often here. So those are a few of my tricks and tips, but what about yours? For my experienced planters, could you put some comments below or some of the resource guidelines? I know I saw a lot on the Facebook groups, and you guys did a great job trying to help each other with the different plants. So what would be your best resource or your best tip for prep for cold? Put in the comments section below. Now, again, it's been a cold week, so there really hasn't been any fruit off the trees. I got a couple mulberries again, but right now I'm just waiting. And I've been checking a lot on a banana rack that during the cold, the leaves don't look as good around it, but it's actually looking pretty good and made it through this last cold snap. And my star fruit, it's a little sad right now, but it's okay. It'll come back. Right now, it's just a waiting period. And actually, that's gonna be next week's topic, waiting. So if you're looking forward to that, make sure that you like, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications. New videos every Tuesday right here on Wild Florida. And if you want to check out our other videos on wildlife, weather, and habitats from your backyard to the theme parks, go ahead and look forward to our Fridays videos. I got a fun one because Super Bowl's coming up, and I'm doing a fun little play. So I hope you look forward to that one too. All right, This is Jacqueline. See you next week.